again, everybody, and welcome back to Utopia. Today we'll climb cliffs of Utah's western desert with Hawkwatch International. These scientists risk life and limb to protect golden eagles. And later on in the show, we visit Park City, Utah, a town that has gone from silver to gold. That's because they were recently named the first gold level ride center in the world. And gold seems to be today's theme. We'll begin with the Golden Eagle. Here's Sean King with our lead story.
The vast expanse of Utah's western desert, sprawling plateaus abut sheer cliffs, vast valleys give way to steep mountains. Prickly pear, sagebrush, junipers, and wildflowers strewn the landscape. Humans may be scarce, but here live mountain lions, snakes, jackrabbits, and birds of prey. Birds of prey refers to all hawks, owls, vultures, kites, ospreys, falcons, and eagles. In this area of Utah, the eagles most common, but not common enough, are the magnificent golden eagle.
We've been monitoring golden eagles in the west desert of Utah since the late 90s, and the long-term monitoring that we've done suggested that breeding populations were declining.
Steve Slater is the Director of Science and Research for Hawkwatch, an international conservation organization focused on the health of raptor populations around the world.
We were established over 30 years ago to monitor migrating raptors to get a sense of their populations. And since then, we've grown into a research and education organization as well that goes out to school groups with live birds, as well as conducting on-the-ground research and monitoring.
Since 2013, Steve and his team have been banding nestling golden eagles in Utah's western desert. In addition to banding, they attach GPS backpacks to the fledglings that ping every hour. With these two methods of tracking, Steve hopes to have a complete picture of the life cycle and movements of these raptors. But before they can band, they have to find the nests. And golden eagles like to nest in high places, often hard to get to cliffs and overhangs.
A lot of these nests we've known about for decades, and so there's a lot of background effort in searching for nests over years and years, and we document those, and then each year we go out and we visit those early in the season to see if there's birds laying eggs.
When active nests are reported each spring, Steve and his team spring into action. Steve is not a professional climber, but he does have a pro on staff. Earlier fieldwork illuminated the need for a trained biologist to assess and handle the eagle chicks. So Steve bravely puts himself in danger because of his passion for these amazing creatures.
When we do find a nest with a good candidate, we'll bring all of our gear and ropes and everything and have to hike up to the top of the nest cliff and find an anchor, which can be challenging. In some of these areas, there's not necessarily a tree or a large rock to anchor off of, but once we find that setup, we'll rappel down to the nest, and that's where the challenge begins of actually wrangling a large eagle with large talons that doesn't want to be taken out of its nest. I'm not a trained climber. Basically for this work you need to be able to rappel and ascend, and you have to be permitted to handle the birds, which is a larger challenge sometimes than the actual climbing. And the climber we do have on staff has, I've said to him a few times, well, isn't this fun work for you? And it's stressful related to recreational climbing because these cliffs don't have nice clean routes. They're not bolted. There's not a nice anchor at the top.
Golden eagles are monogamous, and many remain paired for life. Females lay up to 2 eggs per season, and they incubate for about 6 weeks. On average, 50% of the chicks survive, and by the fall, the chicks are ready to leave the nest. At about 5 years old, the eagles are ready to start a family of their own.
Right now we're using these blue color bands that the general public can see really well on the bird's leg, whether the bird's perched on a pole or even flying over with the cameras these days. And we also have a camera network set up throughout Utah where we hope these birds are captured on film and we can read the lettering on these bands to get some sense of their survivorship and where they're going.
Don't go away, more Utopia after these messages.